What's up? Welcome to Podcast Hell. I'm Erick Hellwig. Before we get the show started, we're doing our shout-outs. I had a couple people reach out on YouTube. You can be right at the top of the show if you want by leaving me a comment on YouTube or a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Let's start with YouTube. Chicks Beach Rider said, "Aloha from Hawaii. When are you coming here and bring the funny?" I will. Send me a club. I'll come out to Hawaii. Your opinion doesn't matter. 8909 said, what makes people want to do podcasts? Nobody cares. All right, that's a nice one. And then my mom wrote, "You played Juan Diego." That was a reference to a play I was in the last episode. Thank you guys for following and leaving comments on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube right now. On Apple Podcasts, I have Midnight Perry here that wrote, "Eric is the real one. A gifted comic, great conversationalist, and a quick-witted host." Oh, these compliments. I don't like those. "In a world of comedy podcasts that wastes your time, this one's worth it." All right. A great way to waste time. Why don't we waste some more time right now and start the show?
Girl, we're about to go somewhere odd now. Times to rise and elevation starts to drop down. Our little secret, don't kiss and tell, you're so bad. I'll probably see you in hell. Welcome to hell, baby. This is Podcast Hell.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, you're back.
I'm back. Thanks for having me back.
Well, we needed to make up for last time.
I was pissed.
Last time you were booked as an exclusive guest, and then I was like, can I bring two people who can't go 5 minutes without fighting and literally screaming at each other?
That was like a Jerry Springer episode at some points.
It was. I thought Brad's such a wrestling fan, I was half expecting him to hit Rob in the head with a metal chair like halfway through the episode. I mean, they went pretty hard.
They did. That's got to be a chair.
It's a nice callback. 5 people will know the reference.
Yes. Go back and listen to a couple episodes ago if you want to get that reference.
Yeah, man. How you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Life treating you well?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that your big new question?
No.
This'll get him.
No, I didn't know. That's just me hanging out.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
Saying what's up.
Life is fine, highs and lows, goods and bads. Yeah. You know, it's life. It's mostly shit, and occasionally you get a gold nugget.
You riding couches right now?
Riding couches right now.
Now, it's been a while since I've done that.
I gotta say, it's the most depressed I've ever been doing it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is it what do you think it is? Like age or
the age and being like, I really thought this was over.
Yeah.
Though I was talking to my sister a couple weeks ago about it, and I was like, kind of feeling like ashamed and depressed about it. She was like, yeah, she's like, but the world's completely different and it sucks. So you're doing what you got to do.
The world is different and it sucks. Yeah, I guess that's a good pick me up.
Well, you know, our friend Rob Stern he and I went for a hike a couple weeks ago. Friend of the show, I've heard.
Friend of the show.
I don't know. Do we want to get fucking into this? I'm going to start talking about the economy. I don't want to talk about the economy.
We can talk about the economy.
Well, the only thing, I guess, since the 1970s, salaries, incomes have gone up 75%, but cost of living has gone up 500%. Isn't that insane?
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, it's definitely that and not pursuing comedy that's made you poor. That's... It wasn't not going to business school. I mean, what did you go to college for? Did you get like a real degree that you should be applying or no?
I was a theology major. So
I mean, talk about. I mean, I thought English was bad.
Yeah,
theology's pretty rough.
Theology is no good.
What would you do with the theology?
Well, I originally wanted to be a youth minister. I was, as you know, a devout Catholic boy. I was a young adult.
Wait, you wanted to be a youth minister?
I wanted to be a youth minister.
I thought the only thing you had to do to be a youth minister was be attracted to young boys. I didn't realize there was a graduate level.
That's how I got started.
Gordon, stay away from the fucking camera, dude. Gordon, come here. Don't trance over there,
he was
buddy.
so close to him.
I know. Every episode,
yeah,
he fucking jiggles it.
He's got that director's gene. He wants to get back there and
wants to put his paw prints on this fucking episode.
Yeah.
Is that you? All right.
Because I mean that kind of this sounds like a bit, but the Catholics got very youth focused at the turn of the century. I think a little too much, maybe.
Yeah.
But they were, because obviously, depending on where you go, you could see that faith and Christianity itself was kind of like dying there for a while.
Yeah.
So then they were like, well, the only way, it's all these old people that are coming to church, and eventually old people die. I don't know if you've heard that.
I'm familiar with the death of the old.
Yeah, it'll happen. And so then they were like, we got to really start making a push for like youth groups and stuff like that to help keep it alive. So then the youth minister kind of became a prominent role in the Catholic Church, for those of you that are still awake. But I always
Half
wanted...
of my audience has driven their car into a ravine and just...
They're like, Jesus
just burning
Christ.
alive with a fucking, just a charred skeleton with you talking about.
And I want the boringest thing ever. Even Gordon's like, I'm not checking out the camera. This episode's dead.
Yeah.
But I wanted to be a youth minister. I didn't want to be a priest because I was like, I've been thinking about sex since I was 8. I'm having sex with at least one woman, and youth ministers can get married.
Can't get married.
No, they can get married.
Okay.
Yeah, priests cannot.
But youth ministers, you guys, you can't be fucking multiple.
No, I can't be like doing blow and heading out to the bar. But you can have a marriage to a lovely sweetheart.
That's nice. Get yourself a gal.
Get yourself a gal.
Yeah, I remember I saw a movie. Did you ever see that movie Keeping the Faith?
With
Ed Norton.
Yeah, and Ben Stiller.
Yeah. Jenna Elfman. Mm-hmm. There's a scene where like the Catholic priest just can't handle it anymore, and he like rips Jenna Elfman's shirt. Mm-hmm. She's she had a nice pair.
Yeah, and
that was very important to me, discovering things about myself.
The nice pair.
Well, just like and also like the Catholicness of it.
Oh,
like that. I can't. So you have to just come while you sleep. Look at what he's doing. You see what he's doing?
Yeah. What are you doing, Gordon?
This is not interesting.
No, I mean, this is great. This is a video podcast where the thing we're talking about is not on video. It's right on the other side.
So pit bulls do this. It's like they go into a trance-like state where they feel, it's like how their paws feel on the ground, or like if a cloth rubs against their head.
Really?
It's like he used to do it all the time. When we got him, we were like, our dog is like fucking in like, Grateful Dead. Like he's just a fucking stoner. But then we Googled it. They do it all the time.
Interesting.
It's like a common thing.
It looked like he was hunting something.
That's what we thought. Like he would do it under brush, and we'd be like, oh, maybe there's like a cat or something.
He was just stoned.
It was just the feeling of the leaf on his head.
Man, that is some down-to-earth, grounded dog stuff.
Yeah, isn't it like, it's interesting to think about the life. Have you ever had a dog?
Yeah, yeah. Grew up with a dog and lived with some.
You just think about life from the perspective of the dog. And you're like, those walks outside, big fucking deal. Mm-hmm. When you give them pets, big deal. Eating the same food 3 times a day, huge deal.
Huge deal. They can't wait.
And the other that, they're just kind of waiting for those things to happen.
I do spend too much time wondering, like, what is a dog's thought? Because, like, it's not like when you get home, there's Eric, or even, like, there's Dad. It's like, what is he?
It's a smell.
I know, but, like, what is the thing of, like, I guess it's just a knowing thing. Like, they don't have English. I guess that's the part I struggle with. Because I'm like, what is a thought? Like, when they smell something good.
Well, have you seen the thing where they teach the dog to like talk with the pad?
Yeah,
that's fucking crazy.
That is crazy.
And like that makes me think maybe they do have thoughts.
Well, and I guess that's a good point. And they can, like, they know words because they know their names. They know sit, and all that stuff.
We were very tempted. His name was Gucci before we got him.
Okay.
Yeah, and we were very tempted. They recommend changing the dog's name when you adopt them.
Okay.
Because it's like it gets them in a better place for like a new home, new environment.
Oh, interesting.
But we really debated keeping him as Gucci.
Yeah, that's a cool name.
I mean,
I like Gordon.
I like Gordon too. We liked Gordon. We just thought Gucci was, we're white. It's funny.
Right, yeah.
It would have been funny to have to introduce him as Gucci to people, and they have to keep a straight face.
Right, yes, of course it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It is a fitting name.
Boy, he's really in it.
Yeah, he's taking laps. He's going to hit the fucking... Gordon, get out of there. Gordon. God damn it. You see what he's doing?
Yeah.
Look at... Oh. They fucking he just stepped... For those of you... For you guys... Can you imagine how bad the audio version of this podcast is going to be? For those of you fans of the show... listening audio, or you couldn't see the video, he stepped through the legs of the camera like a
just
much
missing it by this much,
like a much less sexy Catherine Zeta-Jones in Entrapment. He just kind of got through all the wires.
If you're listening to this on Spotify, flip over to the YouTube and then shut it off.
No, if you're on the YouTube, you should leave comments, because that's what I'm doing now. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Now people get shout outs.
That's right.
On the pod, just for all you got to do, write a little 5-star review on Apple Podcast.
Yeah.
Leave something on YouTube. Boom. That's simple.
That's simple, and then Eric will say your name.
I'll say your name and I'll read whatever you wrote, including slurs. Slur it up.
Strike while the iron's hot, people.
Yo, you got to take that while it's hot. Are you a football fan?
No.
Okay, we can't talk about that.
Sorry. I'd like to be, but I can't do it.
Why not? What don't you like about it?
It's just the starting and stopping, honestly. It just drives me nuts.
The starting and stop. Oh, like the game itself?
The game itself.
Okay.
I'm a big basketball fan, and I think that's just perfect for my attention span, because it's like just go, go, go.
It's quicker. Yeah.
Yeah.
You like hockey?
I do, but I can only get into playoff hockey, and I don't have a team. I'll root for the Rangers, but I'll watch anybody play playoff hockey.
Yeah.
But I don't make it a point to watch it, though.
What about soccer?
I'm trying to get more into soccer.
Yeah.
Because I was watching the Ted Lasso, even the bad seasons, and I'm like, this seems like a fun sport. I didn't know anything about it, so I've been trying to learn more about it. That's the thing with me with a lot of sports. If I don't know any of the rules, I'm like, I guess that's with anything, but like the second I start to get more of the intricacies of it, I'm like, this is the most exciting thing. So I was watching a little of the Women's World Cup and having a ball.
Yeah.
But...
Who won the Women's World Cup? Not America.
Not America.
Who took it?
So I checked out.
Oh, yeah, that was all you wanted?
That was I just got busy.
I always root against America in international competition, which is weird because I'm a very pro-America guy.
If there's one thing to describe you, if I had to pick one thing, it would be pro-America.
Would it really be?
No.
I am very pro-America.
I know you're pro-America, but that's not the one thing. If I had to pick one.
You don't got to pick one now. I don't want to put you on the spot. But no, it's very hard for me to root for America.
If I had to pick one, it would be podcast host.
Is that really what you would pick? Well, yeah, that's what you know me the most as.
Well, I know you most as a comic.
Yeah. I don't care.
Was your mic not plugged in?
No. It was plugged in. I think it was plugged in. I think it was plugged in.
We're not on camera. Now we're not even on the radio.
We're on camera. We're on camera. Okay. They can still see the dog. The dog's getting he's getting screen time right now. If he's right there.
Hey, what's up, Gordon?
I actually did that on purpose.
The clip thing?
What clip thing?
No, this?
No. The setting the camera so that the dog is kind of on screen.
At all times.
Like our legs are visible.
Oh.
So you can see him.
Oh, okay.
Now, I used to have it set up where it was you couldn't see under the dog, but the whole podcast, people were just like, it just looked like we were jerking each other off. So I was like, let's get the dog in the shot because he always comes up. He wants to be around people.
Yeah. Well, how could you blame him?
No, I think he's an extrovert. I don't know. Don't take this the wrong way. I don't know how a guy isn't into football.
That's fine. That's totally fine. I know why I'm not into football.
Yeah.
I wasn't into sports for a very long time. Basketball became an obsession during the pandemic. because there was nothing else to do. And then I lived with a person when I first moved out of for a couple months. She was really into basketball, so we started watching the bubble games, and then she was just explaining all the stuff, like all the intricacies, and when I've used that word 5 times now, of the of the sport, and I just became fucking obsessed.
Yeah.
I didn't like sports when I was a kid growing up. I'm the youngest of 4. I have 2 older brothers and an older sister. My dad, like 10 years ago or something, he just randomly says to me, he goes, when Josh and Shelby, my brothers, he's like, when Josh and Shelby were little kids, I was always going out in the yard with them to play sports and run around and stuff. Then by the time you got old enough to do that, I was just tired and wanted to read. And I was like, oh, that's why I'm not into sports.
Yeah, that's totally why.
Because he was never encouraged at home. And I'd have friends do it, but I didn't know how to do it. So I would get in my head and be like, well, I'd much rather not play than try and look like an idiot.
Yeah, I feel that way about smoking weed. Because I didn't smoke weed until college.
Okay.
So every time I'm doing it, I'm like, are people I don't know how to do it the right way. Like, do I look like a fool? And then I either smoke like way too little and it's funny, or I get way too high because I'm just my barometer's off.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like I do feel I can get that makes sense. That's a good reason. It's a good emotional reason.
And don't get me wrong. If I'm at somebody's house and it's on and that's what they're watching, I get into the game. And like I watch the Super Bowl every year. Like I can. It's not like a thing of I'm sitting there being like I don't understand what's going on. I've just never flipped the switch of like I'm feeling it though because the basketball obsession has bled into golf. I now watch golf.
Okay.
And it's now bleeding into soccer.
Yeah.
Especially in the summer, because I'm a newish sports fan. So like the summers are rough as a basketball fan because you're like,
there's nothing on.
I need to
There's
scratch
baseball.
that itch. There's baseball.
But you don't like the stopping. I mean,
well,
baseball.
but the thing is, the baseball is like the nice thing about baseball is it's a slow sport where like you also don't have to really pay attention the whole time. I like the crack of the bat, especially when you're at a game. You're like, oh, we got to look and see what's going on.
Yeah.
And when there's people on base, like when there's time to watch. Football is just kind of like, well, we really should be watching this the whole time. And it's a lot of starting and stopping. I
got a buddy that did not know football at all. Like he had an older dad, so I don't think he played a lot of sports growing up either. I could be wrong, but I don't think he did. And I was really into football. He wasn't. But then he got married. And now he's more into football than anything. And it's like, how little sex are you having? Yeah. So I do think for some guys like who come to it later, it becomes like a fill-in a little bit for not filling in. If you know what I mean?
Yes, well, a little something to fill you up when you're not
filling somebody up.
Yeah,
but I do.
That should be the tagline for all sports.
I do think it would get hard once you're old. Like when you're like 70 and everyone's dead, and you're just hanging out, and there's a football game on, and you're like, I was never really a fan. It's like, well, you better become one. What the fuck else are you gonna?
What are you gonna do?
Listen to like Frank Sinatra records?
Well, and I think that's because like you have 2 options: football or Frank Sinatra, and you've already listened to the albums twice,
so you might as well.
That is funny because like that's kind of what like COVID was kind of all of our senior citizen moment. We weren't allowed to leave the house.
It really was.
We had to get things delivered. We had to wipe everything down, which I assume old people do.
Yeah. We started shitting ourselves.
But that was just to have something to do.
That was just for fun.
That'll take up an afternoon.
If you're ever gonna just want to know what it feels like.
But I had nothing going on, but basketball was a new thing going on with the bubble. And then again, me being insecure about knowing into the rules, I was like, what is life anymore? I have a giant fan here. I'm just going to ask her, hey, what's that about? What's that about? Yeah. And then I was like, and then you're just like, you're anticipating things, hoping for things to happen. And then I think it does like go back to our tribal mentality, which is good for us.
There's like an animalistic element of it. And I always say it's like if we could just sub out racism for sports, that'd be great.
Wouldn't that be great?
If we could just like view the race is like, it's like, I'm an Eagles fan, you're a Cowboys fan, but like together we're really people.
Yeah.
Just to be like, we have light rivalries, we can roast each other. I feel like sports is the healthiest thing.
It's a great thing, and it's great talking shit with people. It's like I've had jobs where, you know, your teams are playing and then you got to come and your team lost and you got to be like, you're like a little ashamed. They're roasting you. It's good, clean fun where nobody's really going to get hurt outside of people who are making millions of dollars, and you're like, that sucks, but they'll be okay.
They'll be okay.
I think they're going to be all right.
I mean, some of them aren't okay, but, you know,
particularly in football.
It's the cost of greatness.
That's the cost of greatness.
That's the cost.
It's the cost of
everything comes with a price.
Making other people a lot more money than they're giving you.
Not anymore, man, because like now they pay college football players.
Right.
So those
and
guys, those kids,
players.
I mean, yeah, like if you're playing college football at Alabama or one of those big SEC schools, like you can make some fucking.
It's crazy.
You can make some money.
I know.
The boosters just find ways to pay you now. I mean, that used to be. It's so funny because that was like totally illegal, and there's like schools that got in a ton of trouble for it, and now they're just like, hey, remember that thing we had to pretend we weren't doing? Yeah. Now that's the most important thing for us being good.
I know. It's literally their weed. The fact that there's people in jail right now for selling weed. I go to a fucking store. I show them my ID.
Are there still people in jail for weed now?
Yeah.
Really?
I think
just
so.
Smoking it or like
I think
selling
it and stuff. Yeah.
If I guess the argument like if you're just selling weed, I don't think you should go to jail. But if you're selling like weed and people, I think you should go to jail.
That's quite a spectrum.
I'm just saying.
I think anybody
if
who's
you're selling stuff
people
with weed, that's worse than weed.
If you're selling people that have weed shoved up their ass,
then you can't.
You should go to jail.
That's a jail-worthy offense.
Should be another good tagline for the NFL.
What would the tagline be?
If you're selling people with weed shoved up their ass,
it's a terrible. It's not.
You're going to jail.
It's not quick enough.
And
it's got to be
the dancing fox robot comes out, wagging his finger, shitting weed.
I did love that dancing robot.
That was cool. I do like a good mascot that makes no sense. Because what do I think of when I think of football? Dancing robots.
I think of it's one of the reasons I'm pretty into college football is they got way more fun team names.
Oh, sure.
They got like the Jackrabbits. Mm-hmm. There's like 10 teams that are called the Owls. I think it's funny to be.
I know. And there's so many Bulldogs.
Too many Bulldogs.
Too many Bulldogs.
I mean, in real life, I'm a fan.
Same with me, but I just don't get why that became. I guess because a Bulldog sounds tough, but then you meet one and you're like, you're out of breath.
I read this book called Pitbull, and it talks about like how the dogs are perceived through the decades in America.
Oh.
And it's, whatever. It's, I didn't really read it. I read like half of it, and I was like, I get it. We're too mean to pit bulls. I already agreed.
Yeah. You're like, oh, no, I already agreed with this thesis.
You know what really happened is I started talking about the book and realized I didn't retain anything from it. And if you ask a single question, I will be fully exposed as having not read it carefully.
I think that is, though, the age. The fact of the matter of how many times I say to people, oh, I read an article the other day, and it was really, I read a headline or I saw a meme on Instagram the other day, but I still say article because it
I heard it on my wife's phone through the wall as she was taking a shit on a TikTok. And I was like, I was sitting down with a couple social media experts. All right, I'm gonna let them out.
All right. For those of you listening on the radio, Eric is now letting his dog Gordon out of the house, and now he's right back in. There's no pleasing him. This is why people don't like pit bulls. Indecisive.
You can't have an indecisive pit bull on a podcast. You're going to destroy their reputation.
But you do really like basketball, right?
I'm like, basketball's probably my third.
Okay, what's your
Football,
second?
baseball, basketball.
I do love, baseball is the best one to go to.
Baseball's just so chill.
It's so chill, and especially we're both from the Northeast, so like it was always like going to football games was fun, but it was cold, freezing.
Yeah.
So baseball was always like, oh, this is the summer thing to do.
Especially in the summer, because in the Northeast, that's when you get 3 months of nice weather, and that's what baseball season is.
Baseball season.
Yeah, I mean, also like, you're from New York?
I'm from Connecticut, but was in New York for a decade before being out here.
Also, New York, it's like you got some pretty good. Got some pretty good squads up there for baseball.
For baseball, it's not bad. We're not hurting for baseball. We got to. Should we list them for the folks?
We don't need to list them. It's fine.
We got the Yankees.
We got the Mets. You got the New Jersey Red Bulls.
That's the soccer team. Yeah. Did you ever go to a Red Bulls game?
Fuck no.
Yeah, me neither. I had a buddy, he'd ask me every weekend. I'm like, that sounds like a lot.
Every time I was in New Jersey when I lived in New York, I would be like, how did this happen? What bad decision did I make? It was almost always a bad decision. I don't think I was ever in New Jersey for a good reason.
And you lived there.
I did live there for 2 years when I was a kid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Jersey. I mean, it's fine. It gets a bad rap. But
listen, that's because what everybody says, which is true, the majority of people that see Jersey are on the turnpike. So it's just those oil, whatever it is, oil containers or whatever the fuck they're doing. New Jersey's lovely.
I wouldn't go as far to say it's lovely. I just think it's not the worst state.
But like you go to deep, like I had an ex-girlfriend who like lived like in Jersey like an hour and a half from New York.
Where in Jersey? Do you remember?
Monroe Township, I think it was called.
Monroe Township. I never heard of
Township. Me neither. But it was like being in like the Midwest almost, or like down south. It was just like very woodsy and trees and spread out. So it was nice. If you're ever near Monroe Township, check it out.
The kids in my 5th grade class were very mean in New Jersey. So when I say I don't like New Jersey, I mean there was like 22 children that thought I was dumb because I'd come from a Louisiana public school.
Oh, you were born in Louisiana?
No, my dad was in the Army, so I lived in Louisiana for 2 years. And 2 years in Louisiana public school will set you back.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, there's stuff I don't know today that's pretty humiliating.
Really?
Yeah, I was on a date with my wife, and
good person to date.
She was a good person to date?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
If you're going to go on a date with anyone, it probably should be your wife.
Yeah, but this is before she was my wife. This is like early on in our relationship.
Okay. All right.
We don't go on dates now.
Bad joke. You don't have a date night?
No, now we have married engagements.
Is that what you really call it?
No, we have to call them dates. I don't know. I don't know what fucking path I'm walking down right now.
Sorry, we both had a bad run there. My joke was bad. Your joke was worse.
Get the fuck out. Jump in the pool. That's what I should do, because the pool's right there. I should, if people piss me off, I should just be like, get in the pool.
Get in the pool.
Fucking 2-story leap. Referencing more things off camera.
Off camera. There's a pool through over there.
That's right. I got my own pool. That's how well things are going here. These walls not painted black yet, but the pool.
I didn't want to bring it up. I thought about bringing it up. Why haven't you painted the walls yet?
Because, I got busy.
I was thinking about it on the way over. You got to turn it into like a hang though. Like get a 6-pack of beer, get a Bluetooth speaker, and just fucking crack that window and just hang up here and listen to music, paint the wall, get a little buzz going.
Get a little buzz going. I'm probably going to fucking hire somebody to do it.
Why would you hire somebody to do it?
I'm a busy man.
It'll take you 3 hours.
Fuck that, man. You know what I can do with those 3 hours?
Not paint the wall?
Not paint the wall, man. I can sit here and watch somebody I'm painting.
Fine, then you watch them paint and you get drunk.
I could do that. I can't, even getting drunk now is not as fun. I can't get drunk with beer, dude. I got to get drunk with ciders.
Oh, because
or liquor.
The gluten thing.
Yeah, it sucks.
That stinks. I'm sorry. Well, but you got to make like a fun cocktail.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big drink by myself guy. In fact, I have never drunk by myself.
Really?
Never. Oh. I've never had that urge. The only time I drink is to get fucked up with my friends.
Okay.
And that's fun. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that.
For sure.
And I also drove a lot. I'm not saying you should not do that.
Don't do that.
But I did that a lot. So I'm not, I used to rage.
Yeah.
I can go.
I mean, if there was one word I could have described you with 10 years ago,
It would have been
Rager podcast host.
I did rage a little bit, but like,
oh, I mean, I definitely rage. Yeah, I was a big rager.
but I always feel like if I if I had a close friend that was like, I have to go to rehab, I'll be like, I'll never drink again in solidarity. I'll help you out. Because because I'm a person that every time I drink, I'm like, I should never do it again. Because I only drink to black out.
Oh, see, I need, like, once a month, I need a good drunken, debaucherous night.
Yeah.
It's just like how I blow off steam. And, like, I love getting drunk. I think I would do it more if I had more time. Like, if I had less to do, which is always like, what's going on here? But, like, but I do. I love just a good drunken evening. I also love just going out for a couple drinks.
I'm not against here's the thing. I'm not against going out for a couple of drinks, and I do that. But I definitely have like once I get to a third drink, I'm like, hey, once I order this, I'm doing shots. Like I feel like I get to a point where I'm like, let's either fucking do this or let's not.
It is the thing. I feel like it's 1 or 2 or it's 8 to 10, and that's not that I can't like have 4 or 5 and stop there. It's just that like if the party's not going to keep going, then I'm just fucking sleepy and sad now.
Yeah. I also like, are you a happy drunk? Are you a sad drunk?
I'm a happy drunk. I like stopped drinking whiskey because I didn't totally, but like I was like, I think I get a bit of an attitude because like, you know, when you're in your 20s, it's like JMO shots. And then I started switching to tequila shots and gin drinks. And I'm like, what's up, everybody? Let's all get along and be happy.
Yeah.
Not that I was like going out and causing fights, but I just felt irritable on whiskey.
Have you ever had an Irish car bomb before?
Yes. That's the Guinness with the Baileys and the Jameson.
And so I did one time when I was in college. We were in Cocoa Beach, Florida for spring break. Mm-hmm. And I took 6 of those in a row.
Oh, boy.
Which is like,
a row?
Yeah. Maybe not in a row. I think it was like I took 3, and then like on a dare, I did 3 more. So I took it was maybe over the course of an hour, but that's like 12 drinks.
Yeah.
That's a lot. And I blacked out, and I woke up in a hotel like a mile and a half away. And yeah, I'd like hooked up with a girl or whatever. This is all things I should not be saying. But but I was like, oh man, how did I get here? Did I take a cab or something? I walked barefoot on the side of a highway. Yeah. Because like we had been staying at that hotel. It was like a 2-lane highway, but it's still a highway that runs through Cocoa Beach. Mm-hmm. And I had to walk back to the new hotel where we were staying. And I was like, what was going through my head? Yeah. I mean, I just think of like every drunk college kid that dies doing something stupid. I'm like, it's just by pure luck. That's not me.
Well, it's same with, I mean, many blackout nights, and you know, I've woken up on the subway a few times. I'm like, oh, all right, I'm at Coney Island. Sweet. But that is like, I don't like getting blackout anymore. I never get to that point, but I do just like to. It's just fun to just hang out, have some music on, whether with my girlfriend or I got a couple buddies over, and it's just like, let's just drink until it's time to go home. And, you know, no one's going to get hurt. What did this turn into?
I don't know. Nothing. If somebody were to go like to me with those exact words, let's just drink until it's time to go home. No one's going to get hurt. I'd be like, well,
I guess I just wanted to. That's the thing. I'm not like, I got to go out and like, if I don't black out, tonight was not worth it.
Yeah.
But I like to go out and get a little sloppy, and then, you know, go home and order some food you shouldn't eat, and then wake up and be like, why the fuck did I do that? That's the sign of a good night.
Yeah. See, drinking is just not my vice. Like if I was left to my own, you know, devices, is that intentional? Probably not.
Probably not, but it was good.
I would eat bad food.
Okay.
I'd eat like an entire pie.
Yeah.
I'd have like three boxes of Mike and Ike's. Like that's where I can just like fucking. I black out on sugar daily.
Yeah.
So that's I don't know. Like I don't know what's worse. Probably the food.
Probably. Well,
What's actually worse for you?
In the moment. Well, here's I mean, with the drinking, you always got to consider like how are you going to get home, and like, well,
yeah.
I mean, if we're talking binge eating and binge drinking to blacking out, I would think that would be more dangerous because who the fuck knows what you can get up to when you're blacked out. But
sure, you don't know what you're getting up to.
But in the long run, I would say they're both equally bad because now I'm thinking like, all right, let's say binge eating every day or binge drinking every day. Like if both of those sound like very bad for you. Well, you know what we should do? We should Morgan Spurlock. You binge eat every day. I'll binge drink every day for 30 days, and we'll see where we're at.
Spurlock it, man.
Yeah.
Didn't that guy get in trouble?
He did. I don't know what for.
Yeah, who knows?
I think he got Me Too'd or he like yelled at a PA. That's either one of those two.
I saw an article that came out today where it was like writers at Jimmy Fallon are sad.
Yeah.
Oh man. Uh-oh. Somebody's not giving you back massages when they pay you to write on late night. Shut the fuck up. Jesus Christ. He drinks a lot?
Yeah.
That's not your business. He smells like liquor? Yeah.
Okay.
You want to host a show, you fucking talentless douche? What the immediately on Fallon's side.
That's why you're just a writer.
Yeah, what the... Look, have a little bit of mental toughness.
That is the thing.
A little bit. That's the same room that they had to... Norm Macdonald was going to come on, but he like did an interview where he said a word you're not supposed to say anymore. And the staff was so upset that Norm Macdonald was going to come on the show that they had to cancel his...
really?
Yeah. So those are the people that were upset that Jimmy Fallon was being demanding of them.
I mean...
Suck it.
I got... We'll pull back the curtain a bit. We're in the same text group, so I got texted the same article.
I forgot that you're in the... Wait, who texted it?
Brad.
Okay, all right.
It was also in the episode.
We have 4 friends.
I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but I mean, that's just an insanely demanding job. It's also like, I don't know. I've talked about it with my girlfriend a lot. Sometimes it feels like Fallon is hosting that show with a gun to his head. Like, just the amount of pressure he has to be under.
Yeah.
I don't know the nitty-gritty, but it's like everybody has a fucking boss who flies off the handle, and you hope they recoup or apologize. But
look, he can't be like bringing a baseball bat in with barbed wire like Negan and menacing people. But like... Right. You have a temperamental boss. Like, I don't know. Everybody has to be the best boss. Like, I'm not saying he's not a dick.
Yes, for sure.
But like, I just feel like everybody's a big pussy. Like, I don't know. He wasn't harassing people. Doesn't seem like he's harassing people.
No.
Doesn't seem like he's like fucking his interns.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like he's drinking and is in bad moods sometimes when he's hungover. That's what the article says.
Okay.
I'm like, all right.
And again, that's the thing of like, obviously you would hope your boss is not drinking all day, but like, to what is he then being like, I'm so drunk, I'm going to take this barbed wire baseball bat and Negan this office up a little bit.
No, it's, at one point they were like, oh man, when he was in one of his bad moods, we wouldn't, don't just stand around and talk. You gotta really sit down and do your job. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? What is happening? Yeah, do your fucking job. Do your job.
Yeah.
My sympathy is getting smaller and smaller every day for this shit. Or I'm just like, what's happening? I don't want, if you're a boss out there, if you got people, be nice to your people. Take care of them financially.
Don't drink at work. That is the thing. Here, I don't want to go down that road. I fucking hate talking about money. It's probably because I don't have any. But
Yeah, people who have money like talking about
money.
It's fun.
But that is because like there's people get paid very, very well. And so it is kind of like, again, like, is he harassing people? Like, that is a toxic work environment. But is he just showing up hungover and he doesn't want to put up with your shits?
Yeah.
And you're making $4,000 a week?
Shut the fuck
working a job that anybody in show business would kill to get? It's okay if he's kind of like, hey, it'd be nice if you guys got to work.
Yeah, they were like, he's gone through 9 showrunners in 9 years. And they're like, well, what is a sign of his toxicity? And I was just kind of like, sounds like he runs a tight ship.
Yeah, sounds like
you know what? Sounds like it's hard to get a good XO.
It also sounds like it's hard to have a show in 2023 whose template is from the 1950s. Sounds like that's a little stressful.
Yeah. The most popular part of that show is where they're like, is it pizza or is it yogurt? And you have to fucking put a blindfold on.
You're like, yeah, you can't tell us till you sing a song.
They're trying. Like that whole, I don't even know if late night's going to exist in 5 years. Those shows.
Curious to see what happens.
Those shows, if they do, they're going to look completely different. They're going to be like 90-second TikTok segments put back to back.
I am wondering who, because like I've kind of moved around with all the hosts' allegiances and not allegiances, but I guess liking. So during the pandemic I became like a Kimmel guy, which I never really got into. I'll watch his monologues on YouTube while I'm eating breakfast, but like that's all of the show I watch. So then I just wonder what type of person, because I'm a person who I feel like is not the demographic. I guess I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. What type of a loser? I feel like I'm watching the Kimmel monologue on YouTube. I'm like, who else is getting up every day and doing that?
I think I remember the old Colbert, the show that was on Comedy Central.
That was one of my favorite shows of all time.
I went to go see it live.
Oh, nice.
And I asked him a stupid question. I was like, do you still do improv? Blow my
fucking loser.
Blow my brains out from embarrassment.
You sound like someone on the Fallon staff right now.
I really do. He's like, we'll see you in 5 years, buddy. You'll be in a Rolling Stone article complaining about having to do your job.
I was just wondering, do you still do improv, and would you like to do a scene together real quick?
I had my fucking retainer in. I had a shirt that said my pronouns are to be respected. I deferred to my wife before I asked the question, would you like to go first? It is International Women's Day.
That was one of the greatest shows of all time. That was when it was on, it was the best late night show.
And it was good because it seemingly made fun of both sides in a way that neither side could attach to it the way they wanted. Right. Like it was only, I didn't see like people on the left or the right loving it. Mm-hmm. I saw like comedy fans loving it because they were getting the irony of both characters.
Yeah.
I mean, so much of the late night stuff, it's like, it went so hard left. I'm like, it's like the jokes become predictable. It made me miss Leno, which is crazy because I wasn't even like a big Leno guy, but like.
We're in LA right now, and that's the first time anybody said that in years.
Said what? Miss Leno?
Missed Leno.
Hey, man. Look, if it was
really
7 years ago or whatever, I was all Team Conan. I would have been like, light him on fire, like
off with his head.
Yeah,
you took his show away.
Yeah, I was just oddly attached.
I wrote an email to NBC when Conan was losing.
Did you really?
I did.
Like, how dare you?
I was like, do you want to know what I said? It was such a fucking. I was like, when he got the late night show, he wasn't a success at first, and look how well that did. Maybe you should give him. They're going to be like, wow, this kid from Ridgeville, Connecticut's making a good point.
We haven't considered this. You know what? Put that chart away of our financial earnings for quarter 3. Dylan Fisher says, give Conan a chance. I wrote a letter to
You're welcome,
I wrote a letter to the Philadelphia Eagles when I was a kid.
Nice.
When they drafted Donovan McNabb, because the year before Donovan McNabb was at Syracuse, my dad went to West Point, and Syracuse played Army. This would have been 90. I think this was like 96 or 97. and Army was having a really good year. Everybody's like, "Oh, Army's good," but Army sucks at football because they're all like soldiers that just happen to play football. So whenever they play the one good team that they schedule every year, they get fucking killed. So they were like 8-0. They went to Syracuse and they were losing like 85-0. And McNabb runs for like a 95-yard touchdown. Me and my dad are just sad. And when he scores a touchdown, he like turns back to the Army guys that are chasing him, and he gives them like a fake, like you're gay salute. And my dad, I thought my dad was gonna like fucking throw something through a window. Like I've never seen my dad that mad. Like this fucking disrespectful blah. Like he was losing his mind. Mm-hmm. So then the Eagles drafted McNabb, and I wrote to PhiladelphiaEagles.com, and I was like, Donovan McNabb doesn't respect the troops. You can't draft somebody to. I was like, draft Achilles Smith, who ended up being a huge bust.
I just love. Wait, hold it.
Wait,
he just received.
He got a personal foul 8 months ago while playing the Army football team.
Yeah,
he's gone. No, I write an outrage letter.
Oh my god, I feel bad. The only time I've like reviewed places on like Google has been from a negative thing. Which like now getting older, I know people with small businesses, and they're like, yeah, they're like that can like
destroy your business,
and I'm like,
destroy your business.
So I've stopped doing it
unless they really do something.
Well, but here's
bad.
the thing: I would not review every place. I've done it maybe 2 or 3 times, and it's just like blown away by bad service. Where I'm like, what the fuck is going on at this place? You can't be this bad at your job.
Yeah,
like there's no way this person got hired and is this bad. But then you also I don't know, it opens up that Pandora's box, because then you have insane people going into places and like they don't like the way their ranch is made. And then then they start creating this whole narrative of like, well, they were a little slow on the service and they were rude.
Yeah, it is hard because do you remember that they had like Yelp for people?
Really?
For like a minute?
No.
I think it existed for like a second, but it was also, then they made it like a Black Mirror episode, like years later.
Oh, yes, I remember that episode.
But I think it was actually a real thing for like a couple weeks, and then they deleted it.
That's a good idea.
Because people were like, oh yeah, this will ruin.
Yeah.
But it's if you have a small business, that is like a person.
Yes.
And the idea of like sinking somebody's business because they were nasty to you on the phone, it's like, I mean, I'll be honest, I don't write Yelp reviews, but I threaten bad Yelp reviews all the time.
Oh, you got to threaten.
I go, hey man, I don't need a refund, but just to let you know, when I'm unhappy, I have no problem going on Yelp.
I have a podcast that my mom listens to.
Oh, you don't want me to start trash talking yo shit. And not only will I leave you a bad Yelp review on your business, I will then write a positive review about 3 other places so I don't look like an asshole.
Leave bad reviews.
So they'll be like, oh, look, he really trashed, Bill and Janet's Pancake Hut, but he had very nice things to say about the Staples on Victory Boulevard.
Never been to a nicer Staples.
Yo, you need fucking... Oh, by the way, TSA pre-check, you done that?
No.
Dude.
I know. That's what everybody
No. Dude, you have to do it.
Really?
It's so easy. You don't have to go to the airport.
To do it?
You just go to a website. You fill out like 3 questions. They're not even questions. It's like, what's your first name and last name? Is it the same as your ID? And then I just went to Staples, like across the street, and you just walk in. I went TSA pre-check.
Wondering where this came from
You just go to Staples.
Yeah.
And then they go, it's over there. And then I walked over. There was a woman waiting. She's like, do you have an appointment? I was like, yeah, 3:50. She goes, last name? Okay, stand right there. I'm going to take a picture of you.
She's like, now I'm going to.
And to go, they'll let you know. You'll get it takes up to 60 days, but usually people find out in 3 to 4 days.
Did you find out in 3 to 4 days?
Well, I did it yesterday.
Oh,
but dude, I walked out of Staples. It was 3:54.
That's pretty nice.
It took 4 minutes.
Okay. So you haven't even
I don't know if I'm going to get it.
So you're not
I don't know if I'm going to get
You're
it.
not even talking up the part about skipping line at the airport. You're like, dude, it's just way too easy to set up for you not to do it.
The setup is so easy.
Yeah.
Everybody watching this should do the TSA pre-check.
If you're watching this on YouTube right now, hit the pause button. Write a comment says, I'm heading to Staples. And get the TSA.
If anybody...
Tell them Erick Hellwig sent you.
Hang on. If you're fucking listening to this podcast right now, can you please go into the comments and just type in heading to Staples?
Please.
It's
Everybody who's
all I
listening
want.
right now, just comment heading to Staples.
Write me an Apple podcast review that says heading to Staples 5 stars. You're my new best friend.
I do think though I think if you get bad service, because here's what the real power is, rather than ruining the thing. Because like giving people a warning, I get the rating with the stars. I think that should stick around, but it should be like if it's a food place, rate it on the food, maybe not the service.
Yeah,
I'm just making this up, but like you should go 3 times, and if all 3 times are bad, then maybe.
Well, that's ridiculous.
But
why would you go? You would go back to a bad experience.
I'm not saying like, well, it was bad yesterday, let's try it again today. You go once, it's bad. You're like, a few months later, when I want, Korean barbecue, I'll try this place again. And you're like, if it's right around the corner. I don't know what to do. It's just, it seems like we have too much power on the internet.
Well, let me tell you that this is my experience from my day job, where I have to call people that own small businesses all day. Mm-hmm. Fuck them. Like, how about this? How about you ask the people who have good experiences to leave you a review? You give an incentive for someone to leave you a Yelp review. I mean, I talk to fucking general contractors all day, and I'm like, you have to ask people to say something nice about you on the website, and they don't do it. And then they get one bad review, and they're like, how do I get this off? I'm like, you don't. You bury it with 10 other good reviews, which you should have been doing all year, which is what I fucking told you. Suck it. So, like, I said suck it multiple times on this podcast. I'm bringing suck it back.
Yeah, that's what you should change it. Erick Hellwig, suck it.
Suck it is coming back.
I'm bringing it back.
I've only asked one famous person to be on this podcast.
What'd they say?
Well, they didn't respond. But can I tell you who?
Are
you a wrestling fan?
No.
Okay.
I grew up not being able to throw a football. You think I liked wrestling?
Well, wrestling. You can be an
Don't tell
unathletic.
Brad he's listening. Well, he might be at Staples right now.
Look, wrestling is for fat kids. You totally could've.
I was a fat kid. You know what? I didn't like it. You'll hate this. My best friend who lived down the street, him and his brother were obsessed with WWF.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it, but all they wanted to do was watch it. So I told their mom that my mom said I wasn't allowed to watch it, so I wouldn't have to watch it whenever I was over there.
There you go. But were they allowed to watch it?
Yeah, of course.
So you would just go somewhere else.
I think of it. Because then it was a thing of they're like, we're going to watch this R-rated movie. Is that okay? I'm like, absolutely. Just no wrestling. Then I think it was like,
oh, okay.
He's probably lying. And I would get into it sometime. I liked it because they had the action figures, and you could play with the action figures.
The action figures were very cool.
Yeah.
Now, be honest, were you really subbing out WWF for like some badass R-rated movies, or were you watching like Steel Magnolias?
It was Steel Magnolias.
It's a great flick.
It was as a child on a loop. It was Steel Magnolias, Schindler's List. I couldn't get enough of the two.
Yo, Schindler's List. Good movie.
Yeah, I know.
Best Holocaust movie, I would say, of all of them. Like easily the best one.
It is a really good Holocaust movie.
Yeah, they haven't really come up with a good 9/11 movie yet, have they?
No, Oliver Stone tried that one, but it looked pretty bad with Nick Cage, called World Trade Center. And
that's one where they're like buried.
Yeah, under the rubble. Well, then United 93, when that came out, I remember.
That's a good 9/11.
That's a good 9/11 movie.
Yo,
it's the
that
best
movie.
9/11
When you
movie.
watch that movie, when that movie ends, you're like,
I should have been there.
I could have straightened it out. Yeah, you just got to pull up. Come on, pull up. Come on. Yeah, talk about feeling like you're on a fucking, like, as a moviegoer, to be like, well, I'm not going to feel good in 90 minutes. Here we go. Watching that felt like a duty.
I did.
And that's no hate on the director or the actors or anything, but it was like the most unpleasant experience.
It's not a fun movie to watch. I mean, again, I love Schindler's List, but it's a hard movie I'd like to watch it again, but I'm like, that's a 3-hour movie where you're like, I'm not going to be feeling jazzed at the end of it. It's hard with those tough movies.
Did you ever see that movie? Fuck, what's it called? It's a horror movie with the family. There's a demon.
Sounds like a lot of horror
Spice
movies.
World. No, it's no.
Featuring Scary Spice.
Oh, it's called? Like it's something with an H.
Hills Have Eyes?
No, it's not Hills Have Eyes. Hereditary.
Oh, I've only seen half of it, and it's not because I was scared. It's because I was going to an open mic.
You went to a different type of horror.
I went to a different type of horror. Just shit my pants at the mic.
Well, you saw the first half then?
Yeah.
Dude, the fucking back half is like the scariest movie ever.
Okay, well, I want to finish it. I mean, I got fucked up from the sister car ride. That was right. Shortly after that, I had to go to that sick open mic that I made a lot of connects at. That mic really made my career.
Are you doing a lot of mics lately?
We don't have to talk about open mics.
I don't know. You brought it up.
Let's go back to
I don't like to talk about
movies.
Come on, man. I had some topics. This was free flowing.
It was free flowing. What were the topics you had in mind? Did you have?
You remember up top where I was like, "What have you been up to?
How have you been feeling?"
You know what I wanted to ask you about your relationship, but I was like, that'll be a weird.
Yeah, no, we
that'll
don't
be a
need
weird.
to,
Yeah. So I did that before the pod.
It's great, but
yeah, no, I know, but you don't want to.
Oh yeah, but you
But you could. I mean, this could be a podcast where if somebody was, getting with somebody, breaking up, whatever they're doing, they could come on here and they could chat about it.
They could chat about it.
We wouldn't do names.
I know, but then it's like everybody in their circle knows the name.
Yeah.
Knows who you're talking about. Then you got to dive in deep and stuff.
Yeah, it's hard to figure out what
you're no Dr. Phil. That's
it's hard to figure out what the proper balance is, right? Because it's always boundaries with that stuff, and like I'm sure there's been times where I'm like, I probably could have said more about that thing and it would have been fine, and there's other times I've gone too far.
Yes,
so
I know.
So I don't know.
I went too far the other day at a show. This I have to tread very lightly with the details, but my girlfriend told me the story about her friend, and I came up with a funny premise about it, and I wrote it on my phone, and she's like, you can't do anything with that. She's like, there's too many details. And then I was like, okay. And then I was at a shitty show where I was just throwing stuff out, and I was like, I'm pulling out my phone. And I saw that, and I was like, let me try. And I did like the whole thing about it. And then I told her, I was like, I tried the thing. And she was like, you cannot do that again. Look at me. You can't talk about that on stage again.
How did it go, though?
Not well, which was nice.
Oh, well, that's good. That makes it easier.
It's the fact. But I also, it was a brand new thing. I really think I could make it hot. I fumbled the setup.
Throw some spice on that bad boy.
But I got to let it go. So that's the thing, you crossing the line.
I give my wife the final veto. But what I say is you have to come to a show, and I will do it with you at the show once it's ready to be seen. So I have permission to work on it. But then if she sees it and she's like, you got to cut it,
thanks.
Then I just keep doing it.
I just stop inviting her to shows.
I just stop inviting her. Or I just have to remember that she's there. No, she's actually never, you know what, with the veto, she's never really used the veto.
Yeah.
Because if I can make it funny, she's like, yeah, it's funny.
Yeah.
And there's so much of my stuff is clearly not, I'm not punching up, as they say. I'm just like trying to be, I have this old school opinion on comedy where it just needs to be funny and that's all that matters.
Sure.
It's problematic.
Yeah.
But I don't feel a need to like tell the truth, or it's always a reflection of how I feel. So I think that comes through in my act enough to where it gives me enough cover to like talk about some things in my life that I otherwise wouldn't. Because it's like I'm playing a version of myself.
For sure. And I do think it's unfortunate that that's gotten lost. I'm definitely more left-leaning, but I get frustrated with all of the boxes we've all been put into, where I'm like, whatever happened to I was joking? That was a joke.
That was
That guy is a version of me, and sometimes he's more me than I feel, but my goal is to make these people laugh, not to convince them of anything or tell them my thoughts.
The goal is to pull a response out of people that are sometimes not wanting to give a response. Mm-hmm. Sometimes people aren't in a mood to laugh.
Yeah.
And you're coming on stage to try to make them laugh. In a way, you're violating their consent. You're really laugh raping them. Jesus Christ. And that's why comedy is a big problem.
That's why these comedy clubs gotta go.
They gotta go, man.
We'll get Eric and I in there. We'll fix it. That is a thing that's annoying, because sometimes you come up with a thing and you're just like, this is funny, but if anybody thinks I'm being serious, that's gonna be a problem. But I wish it could be. I wish they had to make an announcement with the turning off your cell phones and beepers, being like, by the way, remember, these are jokes we're telling. That's where they start from. And sometimes they're things that people believe, and that's okay. But like, if you really don't like it, we're all going to be floating around hoping for compliments after the show. Mm-hmm. Talk to them about it then.
Yeah.
In a nice way, because it is like, I don't know, getting heckled in the middle of a bit. I have a bit that I did it at a show. I remember last year that the setup is very hard because it sounds like I might be making a different point. Like, it sounds like I might be making a misogynistic point, but I'm making the opposite one.
Yeah, it's a misdirect.
It's a misdirect.
Yeah.
And it is like a landfill. So I've been like working on the wording for it for a long, because I keep adapting it to be like, this is where I'm coming from. And like, but if you make it to the end of the bit, it's 100% clear where I stand, and that's where I'm going the whole time. But like, one time I had a woman like call out in the middle of the bit and like derailed the whole fucking thing, because then I had to deal with her. And
then you're like, and now I actually think that.
Now I think that, you fucking...
You started unloading on her?
Yeah, my dad never played catch with me.
Other things have probably, from your dad not playing catch with you, that's probably had a deeper impact than just sports.
Never made a woman come.
Let's end on that. We are at an hour. It is a hard out. Dylan, where
I can't be the end.
That's the end.
Oh, no.
That's the end. We have to end there.
I've made 2 women come, for the record.
And they loved it.
They both said they like 70% came.
The other 30%, they just threw some pity. Some
pity-o. Well, the other 30% was them finishing.
You shouldn't. It's not good. If you're a lady, you shouldn't give fake orgasms.
Please don't.
No fakies. Only realies.
Because we're only gonna get better if you're being honest. Because that's the thing. You got to be like, all right, I got to go back to the drawing board. I tried doing the alphabet with my tongue. Maybe this time I'll count.
The alphabet. I don't think that really works.
Here's the thing. It's not like, oh man, but like, if you're running out of idea, I've definitely been like, well, the usual's not working. Let me try the alphabet, and I think it's enough of a variety.
Have you ever tried like sealing with your lips and then making like Viking horn noises inside?
I haven't done the Viking horn, but I'm a big hummer. The humming is good.
Yeah,
because it makes the vibrations.
Yeah, they love that.
They love the humming, but you can do it too much. I've gotten the, can you stop humming?
Hey, Blues Traveler.
Well, and the thing,
a little less freestyling on the fucking harmonica.
Let's get back to that bass. But I mean, it's all feeling around. I think the alphabet has helped me in the sense where I'm like, let me see what direction.
Is do you like this way or this way? Or maybe this way? What about that way?
She was not liking the ABCs, but she's into these HJKs. I don't even think that's the order of the alphabet. HIJK.
HIJ, yeah.
Well,
this is fun. No, but in all seriousness, don't fake orgasms.
Oh yes, please don't.
Like if you have sex with a guy and he's like, "Did you come?" Just be like, "No."
Yeah, because I haven't yet.
Because then he's gonna have to be like, "Oh," he's gonna have to fucking figure out the things to do to make you come.
Yeah. And
So-
obviously, if it's somebody you trust, maybe not on the. I don't think there's some dudes out there who, if they're like, "Did you come?" No, they're gonna.
Yeah, if you're
blow a lid.
Yeah, if you're fucking Aaron Hernandez, maybe just he just fucking. I don't think he likes a harsh criticism.
Do you ever get jealous though? I know it's a hard out. Do you ever get jealous?
It is a hard out
of the faking of the cum. Sometimes I've been in some things where I'm like, I wish I could just be like,
I've had both. I've had people that do that do the fakes. You can kind of tell because you're like, it's not.
Yeah,
It's not that good.
This isn't what it was like this morning.
Yeah, I mean, but that said, like I've also had the times where, like, I will say I think you appreciate the real comes when you get them.
Yeah.
When you do, because like every 1 in every 100 fucks, I turn into a fucking porn star randomly. Like, you know what I mean? Like where there's just where you're just fucking. It's the right little chemistry bar. Like it just hits.
Yep.
She's in the place. You're in the place. You say the right. Your fucking dirty talk is good.
Yeah.
Like I think usually my dirty talk sucks, but every once in a while I say the perfect thing.
Dirty talk's hard.
And then it's like a snowball. It's just rolling down a fucking mountain.
Yeah.
And those times you're like, yo, I still remember some of those times.
Yeah. You're like,
So-
holy shit.
But if you're getting fakies all the time,
it's no good.
you don't even know. You don't even have like now I have like a thing to chase in my mind.
That would be like doing a set and doing well, and then finding out that they just had like a laugh track in the back,
Yeah, that would be weird.
right? And you'd be like, oh, that felt so good, but it wasn't real.
Yo, I watch a lot of these. I'll always, like, whenever there's a new Netflix special on, I'll put it on for 5 minutes to see how fucking awful it is. And the laugh track guys are getting so bad at hiding the laughs. Like it's so clearly a comic bombing on stage with a laugh track.
Is it really? Because I don't watch as many specials as I probably should. And I've been hearing that more and more, that they're like, oh, yeah, they're piping them in or turning it up.
They're piping them in. There's people, like, not even selling out the venue for Netflix specials. Like, they have a Netflix special, and it's 60% full.
Really?
Like, just like, why? Then why do you have a Netflix special?
Yeah.
Why do you have it if you can't sell it out? It's weird.
That is weird, and it does. You do think that, like, Netflix could, like, they get audiences for all these late night and daytime talk shows. Like, can't you just, and this is just for like a weekend. I get it's more than those people have to get on a daily basis, but for a whole week, that's a lot of, like, can't you just, how do you not have the wherewithal to get people in there?
I just think it's like they don't give a fuck. It's like it's not about the quality. It's when you look at like specials from 20, 25 years ago, it felt like they were actual events and like crowning achievements in comics' lives. I just feel like there's so many people now that are like getting stuff before they're ready, or people who are ready that sign like a five special contract with Netflix and then are putting something out to be like, all right, there's my one.
There's another one.
And you're just like, ugh.
Yeah.
That's where you chose to do it, famous guy?
Yeah.
That's where my hero is?
It is.
That's the best representation of my hero's work?
I know. It is.
Can't be.
It is a bummer when you watch one of your hero specials and you're like, ooh, that was not great.
Shane Gillis special, though, fucking
Does it?
slaps.
Okay. I'll check it out.
Yes. You've seen the one on YouTube.
You know, here's the thing. I got to give it another shot. I was watching it, and he was like laughing at all of his jokes, which is like one of my biggest pet peeves.
Yeah.
So I had to turn it off, but then I had another comic buddy be like, "It's really good. You got to give it another go.
You got to just get through it." He does laugh at his jokes.
Here's the annoying thing, though. I admit, like, it's nice with all these Netflix specials. I wish just being able to. I grew up listening to albums, to stand-up albums, and it's annoying that like now, I can't just pop them on in my headphones.
I mean, you still can.
Yeah, but then you got to worry about your phone being out. Like, you can't like go for a jog. I was always jogging, listening to comedy specials growing up.
Here's what you do: you put the YouTube video on, but you put the phone in your pocket.
Yeah,
and then you just play it, and you just act like it's.
I'll do that in the car because I have it all hooked up to the car.
Yeah.
But
I do that too.
But I wish you would just get both.
A lot of them put them up on Spotify.
Really?
Yeah.
I got to check out that. They're stand-up comedians.
Stand-up comedians. Yeah, you just type in the name of your favorite comedian into Spotify, or you can usually do like Apple Music will have it too a lot of the times.
All right, really,
and they just got the tracks.
Anywhere.
Do you really not know this? No,
yes, of course I know this.
Okay,
but I do know that a lot of comics, like in the past couple of years, have taken their stuff off of Spotify because Spotify doesn't really give much money out as kind of a protest.
Yeah, but putting it on as opposed to where a YouTube page.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know how any of this works.
Well, we got a hard out, and I'm still going to edit on when you said you've made one girl come. Dylan, where can the good people find your work?
I'm most active on Instagram at DeliciousFisher. It's like the word delicious, but spelled DYLICIOUS. Fisher with no C. And I post clips and shows, flyers, and whatnot up there.
You want to see some sick flyers?
You want to see some flyers that are going to blow your fucking mind? Yeah, follow me on there. Come to a show, support live comedy. We're all wanting to do this more.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me.